Green. With us now from Washington is Stephen Bassett, founder and executive director of the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee. Last time he was here, he was running for Congress, was unsuccessful in that venture. But I will ask you today, sir, the Mexican government, the Mexican military says, hey, we took these pictures, these are UFOs. What was that, do you know?
This is significant for two reasons, Shepard. One, this is released by the Defense Ministry of Mexico. This is a message being sent to the United States government that Mexico and many other governments are losing patience with our government's intransigence in ending this embargo. Other messages have been sent by France in 1999 with the Cometa report, and by the United Kingdom when they released a substantial number of documents regarding the Bentwaters case in 2000. Many countries know about the extraterrestrial presence, but they deferred to the United States with regard to the timing of when disclosure would take place. But they're simply losing patience.
How do we know this, by the way?
Well, we know it by paying attention. I've been following this now for 10 years. We call it the politics of disclosure, the disclosure process. Hundreds of government witnesses in this country have come forward, and other governments are putting pressure on our government. The media hasn't covered it thoroughly enough, Shepard. If it did, it would learn about some of the things I'm mentioning here, and also learn about thousands of other videos and photographs that have been taken over Mexico by Mexican citizens since 1991.
There's absolutely no question about that, and his number, thousands, is accurate since 1991. Thousands of pictures and videotapes of discs, but never anything like this, taken by such sophisticated cameras on board military vehicles.
Oh, there's been plenty of...
But not as clear and widespread as this, and government confirmed in this way. I'm just saying that these are unusual in that way.
Oh, no, it's happened many times before, but this is the first time it's been released. Believe me, there is evidence like this in the archives of every major first world government in the country, but they release this publicly in a news conference in Mexico City. That's the difference.
Studies have been done that, quote, clearly indicate the likelihood of an extraterrestrial explanation. But there are people sitting out there, I'm hoping there are millions of people watching at the moment, who are saying, this is nutty. Why, you know, why do we even talk about such things?
The polls show otherwise, Shepard. CNN, Time, Reuters polls, last 10 years, consistently, 50% of all Americans believe the extraterrestrial explanation accounts for these sightings. Up to as many as 90% of Americans believe the government is outright lying. The polls are unambiguous. Year after year, the same thing. In fact, if you could talk anonymously to people, even in Congress, probably 50% of members of Congress already convinced that the extraterrestrial presence explains this phenomena. Disclosure is at hand. It is very close, and the American people need to prepare themselves very soon for an announcement from our government that there is, in fact, an extraterrestrial presence engaging this planet and the human race.
All right. Well, there you have it. Very interesting. Thank you. We'll try to find out more about the lights, and the next time there's a congressman around, I'll ask him. Probably not on the camera, but I'll ask him off the camera. So there's something to feed on.
A las 7, a la misma altura.
Hay unas nubes ahí, se debe de ver esto.
Pero, a ver, busquen eso que viene atrás de nosotros.
¿Ve cómo se ve? Se ve como en dos faros.
Viene como a las 7, 8 de la posición. Lo raro es que trae una punta adelante,
¿Trae algo?
un puntito adelante.
A ver, radar, ¿qué tenemos?
Nada, señor. A ver, permítame, déjale busco.
¿Y nosotros?
Comandante, ¿qué es eso?
¿Qué distancia más o menos lo tenías, Telles?
Oye, a ver, abusados, es como...
Ahí van más, siguen más atrás. Son 10, 11 objetos.
Son muchos objetos.
Afirmativo, ahí van. Va, uno. Y ahí van los atrás, siguientes.
¿Qué es eso, Dios mío?
¿Se anda correteando?
¿Qué es eso? A ver, trata de enfocar.
Máximo.
Ok, no dejes que los dejes atrás. Ok.
Van.
Sigue ese, no lo dejes,
No,
Telles.
van todos, van aproximadamente como 10.
Como
¿Ya lo dio?
4.
¿Ya lo dio? Y van pasando.
Tú maneja, no lo pierdas.
Sí. Ahí van.
3, 4, 5, 6. Son 6.
¿Abajo o arriba o arriba?
En medio, ahí van.
Ahí van a ir 1, 2, 3,
a la misma
4,
altura.
5.
Qué barbaridad, ¿eh?
Ahí se van a ver bien. Y van a una velocidad, pero... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 en la pantalla.
Síguelo, no lo cierras.
¿Están a la misma altura, Telles?
Afirmativo.
Poquito, arriba.
8, 9, 10, 11 contando toda la cola. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11.
Ok, no sabemos qué estamos viendo, son unos objetos nada más luminosos que vienen a la misma altura que nosotros, pero no podemos saber qué distancia. ¿Por qué nos vienen siguiendo?
The Mexican Air Force has released a video that some of you are going to find difficult to believe. A journalist says it shows images of UFOs tracking a Mexican military plane. He says Mexico's defense secretary gave him the video, which was allegedly taken by the pilot during a patrol. The pilot says up to 16 lights were tracking his aircraft. The Mexican defense secretary says images like these have never been released to the public by the armed forces of any country.
And they're saying scientists can look at them and try to figure out what they think, if they're really, really UFO.
We had heard of course, the crop circles, and our assessment was that from various reports there was an aerial phenomenon component to it, some type of what we considered probable extraterrestrial activity. And so we had a team come here in 92, 93, 94, and again this year in 1995 to do research in the area, but particularly geared towards moving beyond just a skywash, but trying to actually make contact with whoever were making these crop circles in some sort of a context of interspecies communications and relations. So we had a team set up in the farm there below Woodborough Hill, and had been out several nights prior to the night that you mentioned on July 26th. It was actually significant that 2 nights prior to that, on the 24th, just after sunset, with the sky still having a very crystal clear blue quality to it, between 10 and 10:30, a disc-shaped craft catapulted through the zenith of the sky, covering about, I would say, somewhere around 30 degrees of arc, and was quite low, actually, and quite clear, because the air was crystal clear, and you could see the lights going around it counterclockwise in this very unusual pattern. It started raining because we were in a field and cars were on this dirt track that would become very difficult to pass. Most people left. There were 4 people who however, remained behind. I was one of them, and then 3 other members of the team. We went to a paved road on the farm that we were working on there in Alton Barnes, and we're waiting out this rain, which was really quite torrential at times. And at about 12:20 a.m. on the 27th, in the wee hours, of course, this is the same night of the 26th, just past midnight, there was a extraordinary event that then began. We had a member of the team who was in a car behind mine come running around, beating on the windows, and I opened it, and he said, "There's a spaceship coming through the field." And I said, well, that's very, I thought he was joking, of course, and I turned, and not far above the field, perhaps 10 feet, was a approximately 100 to 150 foot diameter disc with lights going around counterclockwise, with a sort of a cone or dome on top, with 3 lights on the top of it, 3 or 4 amber lights. Now the lights that were going around counterclockwise were identical, and the shape of this craft was identical to the object that came straight overhead on the 24th at about between 10.
I have Planet X on camera. I'm no scientist, but every person that uses his brain immediately knows that this is not about the sun or sun flare. For the end of my videos I make outdoor shots of my beautiful Spanish city Marbella. Yesterday I was planning to use this footage and I discovered that something emerged from behind the clouds and it's going down. And this demonstrates that this is not about a sun flare. A flare always moves the opposite direction of the light source. It moves too fast for moon, and less than 4 minutes it moved from position A to position B. I'm very skeptical when it comes to Planet X, and I get to see material every day sent by people claiming that sun flash, sun reflection on the clouds or the moon is Planet X. And trust me, I know how to use my eyes and brains. But then you have this. People definitely drop by and comment I am doing this for the views, which is quite understandable. Come on, I have already 6.1 million views, and one video doesn't make any difference. I share what I think is worth sharing, if you like it or not. And here is the original footage. Let me show you the metadata of the AVC HD video file. I have a Panasonic camcorder that only creates videos in AVC HD file format, a format that's uneditable. As you can see, recorded on January 18th, 7:03 p.m. and I've put it on my workstation 51 minutes later. So it's original. Let me import the original footage into Adobe Premiere. Voila. I believe I have Planet X on camera. I want to read your thoughts in the comment section. Join the conversation. Your words really counts. At lionsgroundnews.com is a full article available. I will include a link in the video description, or click the box top right corner now. If you watch on YouTube, if you are here for the first time, I suggest to click the red fancy subscribe button if you are on YouTube, the green fancy follow button if you are on Daily Motion, to make sure you never miss the alternative news they don't want you to know. It's important and being appreciated a lot if you share this video to spread the news like an unstoppable virus. I'm Heathcliff, your host, lionsgroundnews.com.
you.